Okay guys, welcome to Dftg 1317, and for this video we are going to create wall section number 2. So if you did not get the first video as as we created wall section number 1, which was a section cut through the wall where the exterior material is showing siding, you have to go back into the modules and look at that video, okay? So for this video, this is going to be creating the wall sections number 2. This is the second video where we're actually going to produce a cut through the brick wall, and I'll show you guys how these section markers work. Okay, when you go back to your floor plan, your first floor plan, see these little markers here? These are section markers. So if you actually took a saw and just cut through this wall right here. Let me check my sound, make sure the sound is working properly. Okay, yeah, sound is good. So if you actually took a saw and you cut through this wall right here, okay, what will happen is that will actually show you how that wall is constructed, and you will get this. Okay, so as you can see, we have the 2x6 exterior wall studs, and we actually have the sheathing, and then we have the finished siding material. Okay, so that is this wall section right here. So for today we're going to work on this wall section right here that actually cut through the wall where we're actually showing the brick exterior finish. And we actually have to show this so the contractor can know how to actually build the building at this section or this portion of the building. So let's go ahead and jump right in. I'm going to copy this over so I can show you guys how to project the lines down when you're actually drawing a wall section as well. So let me copy that, and then I'll hit Control Tab to toggle the drawings to go back over to this one. And we had it in here, we had it X referenced, and actually I could re-clip this and show it, but I just wanted to do something really quick for you guys. So I'm going to paste this in. This is another way you can do it. You guys are already familiar with how to do X referencing. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to show what this wall looks like right here. Okay, so what you want to do is let's go ahead and I probably should clean this up. Let's go to REC. Let's draw a rectangle here. And let's go ahead and delete everything out of there, right? So you're going to delete that out. Let's trim the wall. Let's take this door and delete it. Let's trim all of this stuff right here. And let's trim all of this stuff and all of this. And we're doing it for a reason, right? Because what we want to do is we want to show this section only. So now you can take the rest of it and just delete it. All right, let's go ahead and take that stuff out. Take this stuff out. Let's go ahead and take this portion out. Everything outside of the rectangle that we drew, we want to go ahead and take that out of the drawing, because I want to show you guys how to project these lines down and how these wall sections are created. And it's essentially the same as we created the elevations, where we actually projected the lines down from the floor plan. So you're doing the same thing here, except you are projecting lines down for a wall section. So let's go ahead and we're going to block this up. Okay. Let me delete this and type in BLOCK. And you can just say just 1A, give it any name, doesn't matter. Let's go ahead and select all these objects and then click OK. So now we see this is a block. So now we want to rotate this 90 degrees or to a horizontal or vertical position. So type in RO for rotate, select the object here, click here, and then just rotate it up just like this. Now let's take this and move it up, because I didn't go through this last time. I just kind of started drawing it. I wanted to show you guys how this stuff is going to be derived, because right now we're getting ready to draw a different wall section. Okay, so we're going to take a big saw, so to speak, and cut through this wall right here. Let's change this line to red. All right, change this line to red. And this is our brick wall right here. I actually deleted the hatch out of it. Okay, let's put the hatch back in so you guys are not confused. Type in H for hatch. And it doesn't matter, I want to just show the difference. The H for hatch. And you may have to click twice. Alright, so that's our brick wall. What's yellow, this is brick. We can change it. Just come up here, just change it. I think we had some kind of crosshatch in there. Yeah, we did. We had a crosshatch in there. So let's go back and find that one and put that back in there because I do not want you guys to be confused. And give it a scale of 10. Yeah, hit MA to match this one, and you're going to have to match the other one. All right, so that's our brick wall right there. So now we're cutting a section through this brick wall. So what we're going to do is we're going to project this line down, or AY, and this will show us the exterior wall, okay, the outer portion of the exterior wall. So now since we have this wall section drawn, the section is basically going to be the same, except we're going to show brick at the exterior on this one. So let's go ahead and take this one and copy it over. You're going to grab this line right here, grab it from this point right here, because that is going to be your temporary edge of slab condition. Just place it right there, then hit escape to get out of it, and go ahead and delete the ray line. Okay. So now what we need to do is we need to create some updates here, because right now instead of showing, in fact, let's do it like this. Instead of showing the exterior wall as a siding finish, we're going to show it as a brick finish. And this is why I gave you guys the brick size charts. I want you guys to make sure that you're utilizing the brick size that is in the brick size charts. Just go ahead and type RAY and project this down. Just like we did everything else. I'm sorry. Now let's go ahead and delete that one. So that's our brick wall, and this is our interior wall, RAY. So what we'll do is we'll line things up based off of this interior wall. Let's change these lines. Let's change this color to green, okay? Now we know the green lines, that's our interior wall. So let's take this wall section right here and hold down shift to deselect any lines that you have selected. And let's move the actual 2x4 stud into the area where it actually should be. Now it's going to show a little bit smaller because these walls that we have on our floor plan, they're actually drawn in as nominal sizes. They're not drawn in as actual sizes, okay? So you're going to have, it should be a ½ inch shorter there. So let's go ahead and move this over, type in M for move. Let's go ahead and drag this guy over. And as you can see, we're about a ½ inch smaller, okay? But at least you know you have your walls lined up correctly. So now you can take these green lines and delete them. And now what we need to do is we need to show that our brick is, we need to show our brick extents to actually fall in this line. So this is the size of the brick, okay? So we actually can take what we had drawn previously for the siding and move it out. So highlight the rectangle and highlight the hatch and type in M for move, just like that, okay? And we want to actually drag this guy over here. And we want to take this guy at this portion and drag it over to here, okay? And that shows us the extent of our brick wall. Now, the only difference here is the slab edge condition is going to change, okay? So let's go ahead and delete these ray lines that we drew in, all right? And we'll go back and we'll put, because actually when you're drawing the brick, we have to show the size of the brick. So we're going to refer to that brick size chart. I'll go and get it and copy and paste it in. We'll either just, look at it. I'm doing a screen record so you actually can see what I'm seeing, okay? But yeah, you guys can actually go ahead and make that change. Now, what we need to do here is we need to make a modification at the exterior slab edge, because what's happening is we have to have a dap out here, okay, that actually shows how the brick is actually sitting on this dap out ledge. And I know that's foreign to you guys, so just stick with me and we'll go ahead and show you guys exactly what I mean when I say dap out. So let's go ahead and move all of our hatch properties here. Let's move them down 20 feet. And I'm going to pause for a quick break, guys. Okay, guys, let's go ahead and continue. All right, so let's go ahead and make a modification at the slab. We already moved everything down. We moved it down 20 feet. That way, when you move it back, you can just move it back up 20 feet, and it'll be in the precise location where you need it to be. Let's actually take this guy and move it down 20 feet as well. Let's type in 20. So everything is right there. You can just move it back up 20 feet when you're ready for it. So now here is what we need to do. Let's actually go into the modules. And I need to go in. Actually, I don't have it open at the time, so just bear with me while I go to the modules. Sometimes it takes a little long for my credentials to pop up. What we're going to do is we're going to take a look. Actually, before we go in, I could just Google it. That's taking a little long. You can go to Google and type in standard. Standard brick size chart. Okay. And let's look at this one by south side. So this will give us some standard. Save as. Let's go and put it in my ACC folder. Let's call it brick size chart. And this is important because there's a thing called coursing. You have to make sure that your bricks actually course, meaning you have to make sure that you take into account the brick size, you take into account the mortar joint size. Let's see, most mortar joint sizes go from anywhere from 3 to 5/8 of an inch. Three-eighths of an inch. Okay, that's mortar joint size. So remember that, 3/8 of an inch. Okay, and you go to your brick size charts, and let's go to it and actually open it up because I can zoom in a little bit closer once I open up the drawing. And let's just zoom in just a little bit. So say if we wanted to use, let's just say, just a modular brick size. Okay, that's 2 1/4 of an inch. Okay, so let's go back to the drawing here. So from the finished floor, you want to draw a line right here. And then you want to offset that down 2 1/4 of an inch. So type in offset 2-1/4 of an inch and offset that down. Okay, so there is your brick ledge. Okay, and let's offset this line here, this first line, let's offset it up 3/8 of an inch for our mortar joint size. So type in offset and hit 3/8. Space bar and offset this up. Okay, because we have to make sure that the brick sizes are actual brick sizes. So right now for our waterproofing membrane, let's just delete these two, or just hit Control Z and actually just move it out. Because you're going to have to go back and put that back in, but it's going to be a little bit different where we have brick on the exterior wall. Let's take this and raise it up. All right, let's take this guy right here. Let's move it down. Let's just say 5 feet because we need to see it. All right. And now let's make our modification to our slab edge condition right here. So essentially what you would have is, this is your sheathing. All right, let's go ahead and take that line and raise it up some. Doesn't have to be perfect, but just raise it up because this is what we want to modify, is this right here. All right. So we need to take this line and move it all the way out to the edge of the brick. Okay. Now we need to actually take the brick, because what's happening is the dap out here, this L right here is called a dap out. let's go ahead and delete this line. Let's take this line and extend it down. It has to be the size of a brick. It has to be the depth of a brick. So this is 2¼ of an inch. It'll house a whole brick here. So what I want you to do is take this. Let's go ahead and move it down. Let's go ahead and move this guy down. All right. So now what you're going to do is you are going to copy these two lines. And you always copy up to the top line. And what I'm doing is we're actually going to show how the brick is actually coursing dimensions, okay? I have to make sure, because what happens is you don't want to get to a point to where you have to have the contractor to cut brick. So you need to make sure all of your brick dimensions course. It needs to course vertically. It also needs to course horizontally. Unless you have a condition like we have where it's only on one side of the, let's just say, of the building. We're only showing brick on the south side, okay? So what you want to do is click here, here, and here. Just go ahead and copy this up. And then once you get a bunch of them, you can just copy a bunch of them, right? Type in CO, and then you want to copy from this line here all the way up. So you don't have to keep continuing that copy. And just place it right here. Same deal right here. You guys will see what we're actually doing here. I just want you to see the process, okay? And let's do one more right here, okay? So as you can see, it goes all the way up. But we're going to delete some of these. Let's go ahead and take these out because we don't need it. I just want to show you this is what coursing means. So whenever you see that term, hear that term coursing dimensions, you need to make sure your bricks are in course. So let's go ahead and take these out. Coursing meaning the size of the brick taken into account with the 3/8 inch mortar joint size, right? So let me make sure my sound is still working. Okay, sound is good. So what's happening is this brick, if you was to copy one more up, let's see, from here to here, that will actually be right where it stops, okay? Because you won't have any mortar on top, all right? It'll just be in between the brick. So now we can take this guy, and let's go ahead and move it down. Let's go ahead and move it down, okay? And I like to be specific. Let's go ahead and trim this line. Type in TR, trim this line. You got to go back and trim all of these, okay? This is the only thing with AutoCAD. With Rivet, you don't have to, it'll take care of stuff like this for you. So this is where we're actually going to put our mortar joint in. And I'll show you exactly how that's going to look as soon as we get all of these trimmed, okay? Trim here, we're going to trim here, we're going to trim here, trim here. All right, sorry about that. Let's keep going. What are you doing? All right. Where were we? Okay, yeah. Let's trim these guys. And once you do this once, you will have it for all of the other section drawings that you have to draw at the brick. I think we're drawing one more at the brick, but it's going to be through the window. Okay? And it's a bit tedious, guys, but it's just a part of the process, okay? I just had some magic tool to say, okay, trim out of these lines, it's between these lines, but it doesn't work that way. You just have to put the work in. That's why I encourage you guys to at least, put yourself on a schedule. And, class is 3 hours long, so you want to spend at least 3 to 4 hours outside of class producing drawings. Okay, I deleted something I wasn't supposed to delete. Okay, let's see. Let's go here. Delete that there. here and here. So just follow along as I delete all of these. Again, it's a little bit tedious, but you only have to do it once. And we'll go back and we'll put our mortar joint in. Okay. Let's go ahead and delete this guy and delete that guy. Just like that. There's so many, so tedious, but hey, it's part of the process. I think I did something wrong there. Okay, let's go here. If you select the wrong line, it's going to delete the whole line. So just undo one step and then pick up where you left off. So what I'll do is I'll draw this one for you guys, and then I'll actually let you guys note this one up just like you noted the other one up, based off of the notes that are in this drawing right here. Okay, you see how these bricks stop and you have a whole brick? Because it actually courses. It has the brick size and it has the 3/8 inch mortar joint. So we're doing the same thing here. So you see how they have this brick and it's below, okay, the finished floor line? As long as it's below the finished floor line, that's acceptable. I typically like to have mine aligned with the finished floor, you'll see. And then we'll have our sheathing that'll go down. We'll have our waterproofing membrane right here. Let's just go ahead and go back to it so you guys can actually see what I'm talking about. But first and foremost, what we're doing right now is, as you can see, you can't see it here, but he's got his mortar joint shown. It should actually show as mortar. It's not shown as mortar here. I like to be a little bit more specific when I draw. So, this is what we're doing. We're creating all right, so now we can go ahead, right click. If you have the select similar function, you can select it. Just make sure nothing else is selected. So you hold down shift and just go over everything except for what you have selected. Instead of deleting all those lines, you can just delete these. Right? Well, actually, no, leave them in. We're going to go back and trim those. Undo that. We're going to go back and trim it. Okay? So now what you want to do is, let's go ahead and delete this line, just that one, and this line. Okay? Right click, go to select similar, and place those lines on that concrete layer. Now you want to go ahead and, got to trim this guy. Let's go ahead and trim the lines. So type in TR, and let's draw, and this should be a whole lot quicker. You can just draw a line up, and it'll trim all of those. Just like that. Now you have to go back on the back side of the brick and trim them here. However, this is going to take a little bit longer because they are actually on the back side. TR, you can probably do, maybe one or two at a time. But you have to zoom out to actually get them all. And if you zoom out too far, you'll trim something that you don't want. Okay. So just trim them like that. And then we'll have to go back and delete those lines that's in the wall right here. Unfortunately, it's just a lot of line work. But as stated, it's part of the process. Come up here. And sometimes you just have to click on a couple of them. If you have something like this, see if it'll let you get, sometimes it won't let you, but see if it'll let you trim it. And let's see if I can pull this off. So I just have to clean it up. We're putting the brick in. Okay? Sometimes for me it's just quicker to just double tap it. 1, 2. Just depends on how you feel, how your hands feel, how your wrist, how does your wrist feel? Click here and here. And then you click here and here, and here and here. Click here, here, here. I mean, once you get used to Rivet, you learn to hate this part of it. But long as if you never take Rivet, you'll be all right. But if you ever take my Rivet course, you're going to be like, oh my God, this is torture. And it is, because typically Rivet will do all this stuff for you. You don't have to physically go and see if I can. Yeah. Oh no, I delete. See, when you hit the wrong thing, you delete the wrong thing, you delete all the lines. So make sure you select. I'm just going to go ahead and do them one by one instead of trying to save time. And then we'll go back down and we'll see if we can do this a quicker way. When we actually have to go back and delete these, okay, instead of trimming them, just quicker to delete them. So go ahead and just, trim these lines outside of your wall. This is called airspace between the brick and the exterior sheathing. Typically it goes for 1 inch to 1.5 inches. It just depends on, the contractor and what they actually constructed as. But typically I'll draw mine in at 1.5 inches. The more airspace, the better. And again, the red line, that's your waterproofing membrane. Okay, there you go. So now select this guy, right click, go to select similar. And now you want to hold down shift and you want to deselect all of these other ones. And I think I just confused it. And I did. Okay, now let's go back. I don't know what just happened, but I'm just going to undo it. Oh, I know what happened. If you ever have this happen, you see how my crosshair seems to be skewed? That's because sometimes if you hold down shift and you drag, you will actually manipulate the 3-dimensional function, okay? So let's go right over here to the external reference palette and move it over. You see this guy right here? Well, what happened was when I held down shift and I drug the cursor, it actually moved this. So 2 ways. You can just undo until your drawings go back right. Okay, there it is. Now you see it's on the top. Okay, or I could have just hovered around this 3D cube, okay, and just press top. And that'll get you centered back up. Okay. So now let's go back over here to our drawing. Let's pick up where we left off at. So now we need to delete. Let's see if I can do this again. So go ahead and select this guy, select that guy, right click, and go to select similar. And hold down shift and just drag it slowly out. Click there. Well, no, that didn't work. So you have to go in and just select them and delete them. Okay. So let's go ahead and delete them all. Just to clean your wall up. And you will have that happen. If you double click your mouse wheel, you will zoom all the way out. Okay, so a lot of times you can just either undo till you get your zoom view that you want, or you can type in ZE and hit the space bar for zoom extents, and then that'll center you back up on your drawing. Okay, so let's go ahead and just take all of these guys out again. Another tedious bit of work, but it's just part of the process. Okay. And that was probably the most time-consuming part of this, was actually getting the 3/8" mortar joint drawn in, and actually getting the brick size accurate, and just putting the line work in and cleaning the drawings up. Okay. Or you can just select them all and then delete them all at once, which may be quicker because it pauses a little bit when you try to delete it. So to actually maximize on your efficiency, just select the ones you want to delete and then delete them all at the end when you have all of them selected. Select here and select here and here. Let's go ahead and clean it up. It's just as tedious as it was when we actually, I just deleted those. It's good to select a bunch and then delete. It's notes. And then what I'll do is we'll show you guys how to draw the arcs that actually represent the 3/8" mortar joint. And then we'll draw that once and copy it down. All right, let's see here. Still selecting. I'm gonna go ahead and select delete, just to delete what I've selected. Just continue. I think we're just about done. Yeah. So again, with AutoCAD, there's 100 ways to do one thing. So what you have to do is figure out which way works best for you. Okay. So let's go ahead and select these guys. Select that guy. Select this one. Let's go ahead and delete what you've selected. Let me check my sound, make sure sound is still good. Okay. Testing. Yes, it's still good. I have to check that because I know, as you guys know, I recorded a whole video at one time, and the sound appeared to be working, but it wasn't. Do something special to get that work over to you guys. So let's go ahead and select. Continue to select. And we could leave these in, but we just want our drawings to be as clean as possible. So when we actually print them for the accrediting team, we want the work to look professional. So we're going to draw these construction documents as clean and accurate as possible. So that's why I spend time on these lectures, to actually show you guys how they should be done, instead of just kind of throwing you in saying, hey, do this. Now, let's go back to our foundation here. So now, as we can see, at this slab edge condition, it's going to be different from this slab edge condition, because this slab edge condition is only housing the 3/4 inch plywood, whereas this slab edge condition, we are housing our 2¼ inch brick. So let's go ahead and take this line and drag it down, and then let's draw another line to show the actual dap out. That's what it's called. Okay. So now type in MA for match properties and select this line and put it on the concrete layer. Now let's go ahead and select our match or our hatch boundary. And let's go ahead and change it. So let's take that and move it over here. And we are going to take this guy and move it to right here. Let's take this guy and move it down. Okay. Now you can see how our brick is working. So now what you want to do is you want to actually take this condition, select this guy. Let's move our rebar ties and our actually number 5 rebars over. So you want to select this. You actually want to select the angled portion, and you want to select this line, right click, and then move it over. We'll move the hatch back. I accidentally selected the hatch, but take this and click here. Now select the hatch. Type in move. Move the hatch back over. You guys can just kind of eyeball it and see. Just click. Okay, we need to move it over just a little bit. Just like that. And let's take this line and extend it. I'll just hit F for fillet. We'll take this line and fillet it here. I'll just move it over this way. Sometimes it gets confused. Now, as you can see, our hatch is a little bit outside of the boundary of the foundation. So let's go ahead and select the hatch. Let's move this line over. Let's take this line and move it over. Take this line and move it over. Now our hatch boundary is back accurate. Okay, so as you can see, we have our dap out here. This is what the dap out consists of. Okay, that's the field name for it. It's called a dap out. You have your 2x6 inch wall stud, actual size, 2 by 1.5 or 1.5 by 5.5. I'm sorry. So now what we need to do is we need to actually show our waterproofing membrane, and we actually need to go ahead and take our sheathing, our 1.5 inch plywood, and extend it all the way down to right here. Okay. And typically I like to take this line and exaggerate it a little bit. Let's offset this line 1/2 inch. Type in offset, type in 1/2 inch, and offset this line down 1/2 inch. Yeah. Let's take this and move it down. And let's select this line and then deselect the sheathing. Let's move this line down. Let's go ahead and make a modification on the hatch again. Move it down. Reason being, we have to exaggerate it so we can actually show how the waterproofing membrane is actually going down and beneath the brick. So let's go ahead and take this line. Now let's take your waterproofing membrane and hit S for the stretch command and stretch it down, something like this. You want to place it like right there, maybe. And what do we do with this guy? Let's take this guy that we moved out and let's move it back over. Okay. And let's take this guy, select it, and then let's attach it to the bottom of our waterproofing membrane. Once you attach it, you want to take this portion and just kind of stretch it out, just like this. Okay, perfect. Now we can take this vertical line and move it over. Okay, so there you go. And actually, let's go ahead and move the sheathing down just to be consistent. Consistency is the key. So now we have our brick ledge with our brick dap out. We have our waterproofing membrane. We have our 1/2 inch sheathing. We have our actual or nominal size 2 by 4 inch wall stud with the R13 insulation. Okay. So ladies and gentlemen, that's the only difference between the two wall sections where we're showing wall section at the exterior wall that shows the siding, and wall section at the exterior wall that shows the brick. Okay, so this is what it would look like if you took a gigantic saw and just cut your building in half. This is what the makeup of that wall will look like. So now let's go ahead and move everything back up. This guy, let's take it and move it back up. We'll have to modify it once we place it in position. Right here. And let's go ahead and modify it. So I'm just going to move this out. And we're going to take this guy, just like the hatch. Let's move it here and here. Okay, let's take this guy and move it over. And you guys will understand what we're drawing here once we actually do the foundation plan. Okay, again, we have 4 number 5-inch rebars with number 3 ties, and this is welding wire fabric. We talked about that in last class. It just kind of gives the concrete some stability so it won't break up. And we're actually using a post-tension slab. So let's go ahead and move this guy up. I forgot what did we do it 20 feet? I think it was 20 feet. Yes, it was 20 feet. Okay. So now, as you can see, we need to make modifications to all of this stuff as well. Same difference. So let's take this guy and move it over here. So we're making a modification to our finished grade. Let's take this guy and move it here. Let's take this guy and move it over here. Okay. And now let's take these guys and move them over the same way we just did with the finished grade. Same thing we just did with the hatch. You want to make sure you're keeping your line straight. Okay, so let's go ahead and drag this guy over. Select this guy. Drag. Leave it about a 1/2 inch. You want to kind of exaggerate it there. You don't want to bring this line all the way over. Yeah, something like that. Okay. Then we want to take this guy, our splash block, and let's go ahead and move it back over. Okay. So next video we'll actually draw the gutters in, so you guys can see how the gutters and downspouts are drawn in. Okay. And they'll actually just project down off of the side of the fascia and down. They'll run along the side or the bottom of the house. But now what we still have to do is we have to put our 5/8 inch mortar joint in. Okay. And when I say that, this is precisely what I mean. So clean it up anywhere that you kind of missed, that you didn't clean up. As you can see, I still have some areas that I'm cleaning up. So if you have this issue, make sure you clean all of this up before you put your mortar joints in. Click here and here, and here. And if you trim it and it's not able to see where it's trimming or going to trim it or cut it off at, it'll trim the whole line out. So make sure you're not deleting whole lines. AutoCAD needs to see what you're trimming. Alright, so mortar joints. So what you want to do is you want to type in ARC, A-R-C, and you want to just come here, click here, drag up, and click here, and then just kind of manipulate your mouse around till you get like an arc, just like this, and trim it. Let's clean it up at the top. Okay, now let's take that and copy it down. What layer is it on? Yeah, you can leave it on that section moist layer. Or actually, let's match it to the concrete layer. So select this guy and put it on the concrete layer. Now you want to copy this down. Same difference. A little bit tedious, but once it's drawn, if you had another condition where you're actually showing a building wall section at the brick wall, you could just copy this over. But fortunately enough for this floor plan, we only have one condition where we're showing exterior brick. So let's take this and copy it down. Just copy from the bottom, and then boom, replace those. And this one is going to be a little bit smaller. This is the actual 5/8, 3/8 of an inch mortar joint. Okay, what you want to do is take this, and you don't need it to be that drastic. It just needs to show like this. Okay, at the top they'll actually do something at the top to actually seal it at the bottom of the fascia. Okay, so let's go ahead and copy this guy down. And you want to copy it all the way down. Once you get 5 of them drawn, I would say just copy 5 at a time because everything is coursing right, so it's going to align up. That'll save you some time. Let's click here. And just copy. And you want to select the top of the brick, and then you want to go all the way to the top of the brick where the last 3/8 inch mortar joint is drawn. That way you're copying a bunch of them down at once, instead of going one at a time. This one we can actually save some time. Whereas when we was cleaning it up, we could not save time at all. Okay. And as you can see, we deleted some of those lines. We'll go back and put those in next. Click here. And I know this is a bit tedious, but it's important to show this. Because when drawings go out, once you get the drawings permit and they go out to bid, you want your drawings to be as accurate as possible because of contractors. Key word, or key phrase or key term, C-O-N, tractor. What these guys do is they go in and they look at the drawings and they look for loopholes in the drawing to see where they can actually Control R. But I think I deleted all of my mortar joints. No, I didn't. Alright, so if you make that issue, just select 5 of them and continue the copy process. But what I was getting at is these guys, they go in and they look at the drawings to see where they could actually make money. Let me give you a prime example. You can specify 2 coats of paint. And the contractor will look at drawings and say, okay, we want to get this job, so we'll tell them that, we can build this project for this amount of dollars. But what we're going to do, instead of giving them 2 coats of paint, we'll give them 1 coat of paint. That way we're saving money. So you have to be specific in your drawings. You have to be specific in your specifications because of the guys that are called contractors. And take note of the first 3 letters of contractors. They're con artists. They go in just to see how they can make money. Now, not all contractors operate like that. I've had some good, clean, honest ones, but still, it's good to cover yourself on your end just to make sure that you are dealing with honest contractors. Because not all of them are honest in today's economy. They all are looking at ways where they could actually make some additional funds, or they can cut corners. You follow me? So yes, again, here we go. Copying all of these guys down. It's a little bit tedious, but it's a part of the process. And I somehow missed it again. Okay, there it is. You guys get the gist of it. So just copy all of these down. Okay, guys. So this is what your brick wall should look like. You should have your 3/8 inch mortar joint drawn in, and this is exactly how it should look. Okay. So what I wanted you guys to do is just like let's move this over just a little bit. Let's move it over just a little bit. Take this and move it over. Okay. And there you have wall section number 2. All right, now we're going to do the same thing that we did for this wall section. Okay, you're going to take these notes and take these notes verbatim and actually copy them over and type them over for this brick wall section. So this is a brick wall section for our building, and this go by is actually a brick wall section. So we need to show it as such, okay, and just call everything out. All right, instead of siding, this is going to be brick, typical, okay. And if you want to get technical with it, we can just say, okay, these are exterior wall systems. All right, I want this guy typed up because we're actually showing brick at this portion of the building. All right, so good stuff, guys. I really appreciate you. Feel free to contact me if you have any questions. I'll get this video uploaded like soon, probably in the next hour or so, so you guys can actually go ahead and continue working on the wall sections. I know right now we're still trying to finish up the building sections, so that's good. I've looked at everybody's work so far. Everybody's doing really good. Just continue to follow along with the lectures, continue to follow along with the videos, and keep in mind, class is 3 hours long, so at least put yourself on a schedule and give yourself at least 3 hours outside of class to actually get the work done. Because we're starting next week, we're going to actually do 2 modules in one. Because when I took the course over, you guys were a little bit behind. So I've got everything projected out. If we do 2 modules in one for the next 4 or 5 weeks, then we'll be right on schedule, okay, once we get to final exam and things of that nature. So good stuff, guys. I really appreciate you. Again, you have all of my contact information. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys in class on Friday at 6. Yeah, feel free to contact me if you have any questions. So what we have here, this is wall section 1A. Let's go ahead and move this one over a little bit more before I sign off, because we have to make sure that we have these named. Go ahead and keep your blue divider in between them so you can notice or determine which one. So this is wall section A. So let's copy this over. And we'll call this one wall section 1B. Okay? Alright, guys, so good stuff. And make sure that this is on a 0 layer. So when we actually print these, they don't show up in our finalized prints, because the 0 layers are set on a non-print layer. Okay? So there it is. You have your building section, you have wall section 1, wall section 2. Next, we're probably going to do wall section 3, which is through the brick wall, but through a door and through a window. We need to show that one. And then wall section 4 is going to be through a siding wall at the garage door, because we need to show how that is constructed. And that'll be it for all of the wall sections. So for the next 2 wall sections, I would say you guys will have those uploaded and ready to go for class on Friday. I'll probably shoot them out. Today is Wednesday, so I'll probably shoot them out to you guys on tomorrow. All right? So good stuff. Feel free to contact me if you have any questions. Thank you.